Hello, 8th graders. Welcome to our online lesson. This is your first time experiencing this. It will be much like listening to me doing a lesson in class. You can have notes ready. Otherwise, you can just watch the video and replay if you need to at the end. All right, so the past couple days we have been talking about an equation for a linear function. And we learned about slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of a line and b is the y-intercept. Now, if ever you are to write an equation of a straight line, y equals mx plus b is going to be the most common. It's the easiest to work with and easiest to graph. However, today we are going to learn about point slope form, lesson 5-4. Now this is another equation of a line. We're going to talk about how it differs from slope-intercept form. All right, here we go. Starting at the top, you have learned how to write an equation of a line by using its y-intercept. Remember where the graph touches the y-axis. In this lesson, you will learn how to write an equation without the y-intercept. So another way we can write a line is when we know the slope and we know any point on the line. That is called our point slope form. This is going to be your important formula of this lesson. This is what you're going to want to know. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, just like slope-intercept, m is your slope of the line, which you're always given, and the y1 and x1 is any point that falls on a line. So when you do an equation in point slope form, your equation might look different than your neighbor's because you could have picked a different coordinate point to graph on your line. Now let me show you this in an example. It might make more sense. All right. Problem 1, writing an equation in point slope form. Here we go. A line passes through -3, 6 and has a slope -5. What is the equation of a line? Since we know the slope and we know one point, hint, point slope form, think you know one point on the line. We can write an equation. Now, if you've already forgotten, here's the formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We're going to fill this in with the stuff we know. I know my slope because they told us right in the problem. The slope is -5. All right, the y stays in the equation. The only ones we fill in are the ones labeled with a 1. So we're going to subtract whatever y is. In this case, 6. Then m times, we have our m because we have our slope, x minus whatever x is. Now, x happens to be a negative number in this case. Don't forget to write that here. A negative becomes a plus. I'm just going to do that now. I'm going to stop right here. This is your answer. This is the equation of a line in point slope form. Here's my slope. The point was -3, 6, and that is all they want. Let's try another one. This time, a line passes through 8, -4, and has a slope of 2/3. We need to write an equation. So, if ever it didn't tell you what equation to write, since you only know one point, we can only use point slope form. Oops, I'm sorry. Oh, that's not an eraser. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Here we go, filling in what we know. Y minus, here's the point, here's my y minus -4, don't forget the negative, equals m, which is slope, which they told us, times x minus, here's my x, 8. I can leave my answer just like this. This is the point slope form of an equation. If you want to simplify this and make this a plus sign, you can, you do not have to at this point. All right, now we are going to see if we can graph, oh, and this box moved on me, an equation already in point slope form. To do that, we need to know the slope and we need to know the point from this equation. So here's what we do. Slope is pretty easy because in our formula, it's the m outside of the parentheses. Here it is right here. Our slope is 2 over 3, meaning up 2 over 3. Now the point is a little bit trickier. Remember, here's our y value and here's our x value. So a coordinate is going to have parentheses and an x and a y. X minus 2. Now the minus is part of the equation. So our x value is just 2. Here's our y's. The minus is part of the equation. Therefore our y value is 1. So to graph this equation, plot the point we just found over 2 up 1. Then my slope, get a new color, up 2 over 3. I'm going to go up 2 over 1, 2, 3. There's my new point. I can do another one. Up 2 over 1, 2, 3. New point. I'm going to connect that with a line. And there I have it. Make sure your line has arrows. I just graphed an equation in point slope form. We're going to do another one. Here's our equation, point slope form. I need to know the slope and the point. Slope is easiest. It's right outside here. It's kind of blurry. I'm sorry about that. Negative 4 over 5 is our slope. Now the point. We need our x. Remember that x minus is part of the equation. So here's our x value, 4. Now this says y plus 7. The original equation is y minus y1. So we would assume this 7 would have been negative. Y minus negative 7. That's how they got the plus sign. So our y value is a negative 7. We have our point, we have our slope. Let's graph. Point is 4, negative 7 over 4, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And our slope is down 4 over 5. Now, I might go off the graph. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About there. I can add another point by going up 4 to the left 5. Then if I connect that with a line, I have my graph of a point slope form equation. All right, now, even though point slope form only needs one point, we can write an equation in point slope form if they give us 2 points. Here's how you do it. First step, oops, I want to be in a pen. First step, you need the slope. So, here's 1 point and here's a point. Now we know slope formula, y's over my x's. So I did 4 minus negative 3 over 1 minus negative 2. I'm going to get 7 over 3, and that's simplified. So I have my slope. Now, to write it in point slope form, we can pick either of these points. I'm going to pick this one just because it has 2 positive numbers and they're easier to work with. So my formula, y minus y1 equals slope. We just found it. 7 over 3 times x minus the x of the point I'm using, 1. There is my equation in point slope form from 2 points on the line. Let's do one more problem just like that. If I gave you the point, oh, we just used that one. I'm going to change the number. Eraser. And 2, 9. First step. Now I know that you could write an equation in y equals mx plus b form, but we are learning here to write it in point slope form. There it is. That's an equal sign. So we need the slope. To do that, I subtract my y's over my x's. I get 3 over 1. I could call that 3. There's my slope, which will go into my equation. Now, I can pick either point. I'll pick this first one here. Y minus y1 equals m, which is 3, times x minus x1. There is my equation in point slope form. All right, quickly, one more example. We can use a table to write an equation in point slope form. To do that, these are like your coordinates. These are your x's and these are your y's. So, just like we did with 2 points, find the slope. Well, let's do y minus y, 640 minus 590, over x minus x, 10 minus 30. Get your calculators out. I'm going to do 640 minus 590 and get 50 over 10 minus 30 is negative 20. This is going to be a negative 5 over 2 is my slope. Then, to write it in point slope, we can pick one set of coordinates, y minus the y, 640, equals my slope, which we just found, times x minus the x value of one of the coordinates. And there we have it. That is our point slope form. Now, real quick, we can go from point slope form to slope intercept form. Basically, all you need to do is this. If I had y minus 3 equals 2 times x minus 4, pretend that was our slope, or our point slope equation. I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to distribute the 2 times x minus 2 times 4. I'm going to get y by itself by adding 3. Negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. I've just written my point slope equation now in slope intercept form. I'm going to ask you to do the lesson check 1 through 4. You can pause this if you need to look at the problems. Rewatch the video if you want to see me do things again, and bring these 4 problems to class.